Welcome back to another episode of the Millennial Gemz podcast. It is your host, Kialla, and today I have a very special guest with me. I've known her since we go back to college, it's the Salem State days. She is in the real estate space. She is a realtor. She is a mobile notary. She is a social worker. She is a mother. Please allow me to introduce Kianie Stewart. How are we
Thank
doing today?
you. I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Blessed, black, and highly favored.
Love it. Love to hear it.
Are.
Sure. I think you pretty much captured everything, but I'm a mom. I have an 8-year-old daughter. I'm a realtor. I graduated from Salem State 10 years ago now.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been 10. I just realized, the other day I was like, man,
10
10 years we've
years,
been
a
out.
whole freaking decade ago. Jesus. Time is getting away from us very fast,
For
but
sure. For sure.
I earned my bachelor's at Salem State, did that for a little while, worked in the hospital industry for many years. I was a certified nursing assistant and became a notary when I was working at the hospital so that I could notarize babies' birth certificates because I worked on a mother baby unit.
Word.
And yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to since college.
So take me back to, before like real estate, like before you even thought about getting to real estate notary, like what did you kind of see yourself doing as a career? Or like what did you want to do?
I loved working with kids, and I wouldn't say I had the most horrible upbringing, but definitely some very tough times along my journey. So I felt called to being a social worker. I knew I was going to do something in the helping field. For a while, I thought I wanted to be a nurse. So that's why I got my certified nursing assistant and worked in the hospital for a couple of years doing that. And then my junior year of college, I was like, I want to be a nurse and talked to my advisor. And she was like, that basically be like starting all over again. And I was like, okay, we're just going to finish this social work degree up. And I did that for a little while. I'd say like 2, 3 years. And I don't think I ever really like found my niche in social work. I just really did love working with children, with families, but then had my own baby. And I don't know if you know anything about being a social worker, but there's not a
I
lot of money
I know nothing
in
about
that
social
field.
work. I mean, I can only imagine like how I don't know how stressful of an industry it is. I don't know. I mean, I may know like people in who are social work, but like I don't know anything
Yeah,
about it. So,
it's tough. It's tough for not a lot of pay. You definitely bring your work home a lot. And after I had my daughter, I was just kind of thinking, what can I do to make more money? Something that would be flexible around raising a child, being able to bring her with me, type of thing. And at the time, her dad and I were together. He's in the construction field and he started talking about real estate investing. So I kind of like took his idea and ran with it. I was like, well, if this is what he wants to do, like, what can I do to also support his vision and also make money myself, be flexible around our daughter? And so I signed up for a class, got my real estate license, and been doing it since 2020.
nice. So how so okay, so let me talk about this first. So I literally just did an episode called business versus stock market versus real estate, right? So I've always come to learn over the years that those are kind of like the three main vehicles of building long-term wealth. So,
Mhm.
again, I'm very much open-minded. Now, I can only speak for business because that's what I've dabbled in and the stock market. I can't speak too much to real estate because I haven't dabbled in that too much, or I haven't really explored real estate or like how to get into real estate. I've spoken to people about, like, how to get into it. Like I've interviewed people who are in the real estate space, but I still myself haven't gotten into it. So if you can kind of just give me a kind of your perspective of what it's like being in the real estate industry, in the space, especially, as a woman at least?
I would say it's definitely it has its, like, amazing perks being a realtor anyway, but there's definitely, like, a lot of politics. I feel like there's politics in everything, right? But
Mhm.
I realize, like, that's not something that I really enjoy talking about, and I just feel like it's silly, the politics and the things that people, like, get into just, like, arguing about, like, people are
Yeah, go ahead,
at least
give us the tea here, give us the tea.
at
What
least
is it?
I'll
What is
say
it?
I'll
What type of bullshit they on? Please, please, let me know. Like, let us know what it is, like,
I will
you know?
say when I first started, so I was at Redfin, which everyone uses for mainly their website, but I think a lot of people don't realize that it's a full service brokerage as well. So just like there's Keller Williams and Compass, where I'm currently at, Redfin is an actual brokerage as well. So I think a lot of people didn't really like them. There was a lot of moving parts to being there. So I kind of understood the frustration, but like in the beginning, my very first deal, it was a pretty big deal too. I think it was like 1.1 million. And
Mm,
I remember the agent who was representing the seller ended up like she wasn't really upset with me, but she ended up getting into it with my manager. And she was just like, this is why us at these other brokerages don't like to do deals with Redfin agents. Da 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 da. You guys are nothing but a discount brokerage. That's what she said. So stupid shit like that. And to me, it was just like, why does it even matter what brokerage I'm at? Like, I'm bringing you a buyer for your seller's property. Doesn't matter which brokerage I come from, like a deal is still gonna get done. Even if I came from a mom and pop that you've never even heard of. Like just stupid shit like that. And there's a lot of ego, a lot of attitude, weird energy sometimes. And I'm a really peaceful person. So I just be feeling like it's unnecessary, but
so
keep the peace.
agree. Can you kinda give us, like the hierarchy or, like, the breakdown of, like, what each role is when it comes to, like, real estate? Like,
So when you're looking at a transaction in real estate, you have typically two agents, an agent representing the buyer and an agent representing the seller. And those two agents represent you, or if you're a buyer or if you're a seller. And we're kind of like the mediators, the coordinators. We're going back and forth, pretty much negotiating a deal on our client's behalf. Kind of, yeah.
okay.
You can kind of think of it that way. Brokerage,
Yeah.
that's the conglomerate corporation that
Mhm.
houses the realtors. And then a broker or a brokerage can hire agents under them,
Got it, okay.
sales agents. So once you become a realtor, I believe I want to say 2 years of being a sales agent, then you can apply to become a broker. And then you need to be a broker to open up your own brokerage and
Uh,
have people working under you. Does that make sense?
got it. Okay.
And then in a transaction, there's typically two agents, an agent representing the seller, agent representing the buyer. Sometimes sellers want to represent themselves, sometimes buyers want to represent themselves too.
Uh, how how challenging have you found trying to balance, being in real estate and kind of being, like motherhood at the same time? Like how have you been able to kind of like manage the challenge of dealing with both? Because quite honestly, I mean, I'm not a parent, so I can't ever, I don't ever try to speak on things, as like, or from this perspective of like what a parent should do or what they do. But just how do you manage doing that? Because I personally don't believe that I don't believe that there's a thing as such as work life balance. I believe that you honestly, for the things you want, you have to put both feet in. You have to be all in on it, which means that sometimes, that means that friends is gonna probably not see you as much. That means family's not gonna see you as much, or so somebody's gonna be taking a hit somewhere because you have to get to where you want to get to. So, how have you been able to kind of manage to kind of both? be, a mother and deal with being in this industry here?
To be honest with you, it's been 6 years and I'm still figuring it out.
Mm.
I completely agree with you. It's definitely tricky with work-life balance. The dope thing about being a realtor is for the most part, you're pretty independent and you're your own boss. You make your own schedule. We're still working for somebody. We still have to be on our clients' time, but for the most part, I wanna say, like, I've closed over 100 deals. I'm gonna say about 98% of my clients were very understanding. Whether they were parents or not, they were usually okay with me bringing my daughter to stuff, open houses, showings, inspections, like and she's learned a lot too. She says she's gonna be a realtor someday,
I
so
was gonna say, has because you're bringing her with you, like, do you think that she may, get the itch to wanna get into real estate as well? Because she's, like,
yeah.
seeing it firsthand from you?
Yeah. She's also really exposed to entrepreneurship
Mm.
from myself and my brother. She just texted me a picture of her reading this book my brother bought her about like it's for kids, but it's like entrepreneurial stuff that they can do now, business ideas that kids can start. And I just started growing a garden on our patio and she's looking at a job for watering plants.
Oh, alright.
Very, very business minded already.
How old is she? 8?
She's 8.
8.
Yeah.
Get 'em while they're young, for sure. Best thing to do there. So, what would you say you found kinda the most rewarding with being in, this in real estate?
I feel like it's the same as being in social work, just like being a part of someone's story that's like it's a really big achievement in most people's lives. But when I was a social worker, it was the same thing, like being able to bring about positive change in someone's lives. And it's just so rewarding. I actually stopped by one of my clients' house the other day and dropped them off a gift. Their son had a christening that I couldn't make it to, but it's just like, wow, seeing them so happy. So excited to show me around all the things that they've changed, all the things that they've made their own. And it's like, damn, I get to be a part of this. It's like a really dope feeling. Some people have even invited me over for dinner to tell me that they got engaged and literally
Oh,
tell me,
nice.
like, you are a part of our story. Like, we got engaged after you helped us buy our first house. And there's literally no better feeling than that, I think.
Mm. So, how with kinda wanted to now kinda get into, like, motherhood and parenthood, how have you, even with 8 years now under your belt, what are you still learning about yourself as you continue to, navigate motherhood?
I'm learning a lot about myself, like my level for patience, seeing my level of patience, I should say, and the fact that I need to really get better. But my daughter has been like a reflection of me. And I see a lot of beautiful things. I see a lot of things that I'm like, damn, I need to tighten up. Like the way that I talk, she's a little boss already, and she sounds just like me. And it's teaching me to like tone it down a little bit and also model for her what that looks like. I'm always telling her, like, I get what you're saying and I understand it. I feel like something that being a mom also has taught me is that a lot of people don't really like give children a voice and respect them. And I'm teaching my daughter and also teaching myself how to kind of like speak up against that, if you will. Challenge how things are traditionally viewed. And it's making me braver almost. Like I know I'm an adult, but
Mhm.
I just feel like challenging the status quo is scary at any age. So I think that's what I've really been learning. Like it's okay to deviate from what other people think you're supposed to do, if that makes sense.
No, agreed. Like, I've always kinda never been a follower of the crowd. Like, I've always wanted to move to the own beat of my own drum. I've always tried to move against the wave. Like, there's a reason why I was never really, you know, I wasn't a troublemaker in school because I see what my friends are doing, and I'm like,
Yep. Mhm.
yeah, y'all just
Learn from other
yeah,
people's
yeah, it's just like no
mistakes.
wonder why I'm like this is why I feel like I could become like a master criminal because I see everything that you guys do and I just take that and I'm like, listen, I could develop a way better strategic plan to not get caught. But it's just also too like I was kind of just saying, yeah, I've never really been on like the wave of things like, we obviously come up in the era where it's like let's say like shoes, like Jordans, right? Everybody, your friends, they all got the best, cleanest Jordans, freshest Jordans. My
Yeah.
mama was not having none of that. Everybody else's parents will get them the 200 something dollar Jordans. Me, we going right to the Payless. We get the knockoff joints, so we get the affordable Johns.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just what it was. But yeah, I've always kind of just been that way. Like, I never wanted to ever, be a part of like what everybody else is doing. I've never really conformed to a lot of what society's kind of asking us. Like it's almost kind of like how I like my take on marriage in a way. It's very much different than how some people may, you know, want to go about marriage. They want to do the whole, let the government get involved. Me personally, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I personally feel I've, you know, again, kind of just telling myself again, I've never cheated a day in my life. So I personally feel like I could be committed to a woman without us being married by the government.
Yeah.
I truly believe I can be committed to a woman without us having, I guess, paperwork tied,
You can
that,
have
that
your
ties
own
us.
contract,
Exactly. I
not
definitely
a
believe I can
government
do that. Now,
contract.
I don't believe quite, I believe, maybe there might be a certain kind of guy that can do that. I don't believe every man can do that. But I do believe there are certain guys that can manage that kind of thing. So yes, I truly, wholeheartedly hear you that, yeah, I'm just conforming to things to the norm. It just ain't it. And
Yeah.
we got to move to the beat of our own drum. So how important is your daughter learning entrepreneurship? Because obviously, again, like with our gen, we weren't a lot of us definitely weren't kind of brought up into it, like a lot of our parents are mostly baby boomers, so they're more so like follow the system here, get the job, and kind of just ride that job out until you're literally 65 and just be there forever. Whereas like, once you kind of get to like, the Gen X and then the millennials and then the Gen Zs, we're kind of just like, that's not the way things are gonna work anymore. So
Exactly.
we definitely, haven't learned about how to invest and park our money in things, and learn about all like the different asset classes. So how important is it for you to teach your daughter about like entrepreneurship and kind of just learning to not, I guess, succumb to being the average working man or woman? Because I mean, I don't know, you've probably seen the movie A Bronx Tale, right?
I think so, yeah.
So, Sonny the mobster, he says to the Calogero that, the working man is a sucker. And so,
Yeah.
I honestly, I run with that too. But yeah, just kind of just get into the question. How important is it for you to, teach your daughter about like entrepreneurship and kind of just learning to become her own boss and to, just never be a slave to corporate?
It's really important, and like I said, my brother and I are both entrepreneurs, and my brother's my best friend, so he's also her godfather, and that's like his thing. Any idea that she even brings to him, he literally gives her a whole expose on how she can turn that into a business, anything that she's interested in, and I mean, I've been a realtor since she was 2. She's come along on the journey with me, so she sees like, "Dang, mommy has a lot of like time and I can go to work with her and like we've just been having our way." The only thing I haven't done yet is master the I guess I don't want to say master, but I guess be brave enough to do full-time homeschooling.
Mm.
And we'd really have a lot more time together and she could really focus on things that she's more interested in and that's coming soon.
So
But
you're like already kind of in the process of trying to homeschool her full
yeah,
time? Oh,
yeah.
nice. When did you kind of start? thinking that, all right, homeschool is kind of the route that you want to pursue?
I think that's always been on my mind and a thought that that's how things would be when I had a child. I've always kind of had that idea. I think we've been seriously talking about it now for the last 2 years, but, she's a really social girl, so I worry about that too and, like, being able to entertain her all day. But I mean, like, I don't mean entertain her all day, but, like, because she's a big kid, she entertains herself, but
Mhm.
just having something for her to do all day because not every day I'm booked with showings and we're gonna be on the road, so I'm still trying to figure those things out.
Now, kind of going back into real estate, how first of all, what are like the average, like how many showings would you say like an average person may have like on, say like I guess maybe like a break it down by like either like a day, a week, or like by a month?
It's really tricky to say. Like, it really varies. And that's just the beauty of real estate. You could be working with 5 clients at a time. You could be working with no clients for a period of time. You could be working with 15 clients at a time. And yeah, that's where I would say things were very well thought out at my other brokerage. And you had helper agents pretty much. So if there was, let's say I have two clients that I need to go out with, but they both want to see a house at 3:30. Well, I'm only one person. I can only be
Mhm.
in one place at one time, right? So at that brokerage, I could schedule myself for a 3:30 slot, and then there were agents in that area that the client wanted to see a house who were probably available as well at 3:30, and they could go on a tour with them. But, there's been days where I've had, like, 5 different showings all over, and I am definitely, I would say my main service region is, like, Metro Boston, so, like, Dorchester, Roxbury,
Mm.
Quincy, anywhere in, like, Brighton, those areas I know really, really well. That's where I grew up, that's where I was born and raised, but I feel like I am an agent that likes to take my time getting to know my clients, so
Mhm.
once that relationship's there, I'll go anywhere they need me to go. Anywhere in Massachusetts, anywhere in Rhode Island, that's where I'm licensed. I actually was joking with some clients today, they just got a place under agreement, um, in Chelmsford, and they were like, "Thank you so much for coming all the way north with us," and, like, I've been working with them for a while, very, very sweet family, and some people they just make you feel like it's worth the while. There's
Mhm.
definitely been some asshole clients that I'm like, "I can't wait for this shit to be over and I'm never gonna talk to you again." But then you meet some really sweet people and it feels like they're worth it. So, it really just depends to answer your question, like, on how many clients you're dealing with at a time and just what everyone's availability is like.
Mm. How I know you were talking about like kind of building a bond with like clients. So how important, and then like how long, I guess it can kind of vary depending on, who you're dealing with. But yeah, like I guess talk about like kind of like the importance of kind of building a bond with, a buyer or a client at that when it comes to this.
I would say for me, it's pretty important. There have been some transactions where we got along perfectly fine, but like I didn't necessarily get a chance to bond with them. Maybe they went to an open house. We met one time and we went on one showing and they decided that was the one for them. So like I didn't have the time to get to know them. These folks, I think I started working with them maybe in like, I want to say maybe like November of last year. And we're just now getting something under agreement. So we've had a lot of time to chit chat. They also were referred to me by their cousins who have worked with me and got to know me pretty well. And so there's also that connection. But I would say for me, it's pretty important because that's just how I like to do business, but it's not always necessary. Sometimes some people don't have that type of personality. They're bulls and they just want to business. They don't really want to talk about the weather and how their kids are. Maybe they don't even know that I have a child or Like, it just
And
depends on who people are. But, that's how I like to do business. I feel like this is a very much it's transactional, but there has to be trust because
right.
I'm referring lenders to them. I'm referring home inspectors to them. I'm referring lawyers to them. And they have to trust that I'm steering them in the right direction. I mostly help first time home buyers too. So it's like that blind faith that they have to put in me. So I don't take that shit lightly at all. Like, it's very serious business. So
Kind of comparing, like, how do you have that conversation with, like, first time buyers? Like, how do you kinda get them to really, I guess, commit to, like, what you're trying to assist them with? Because, like, I don't know what that's like just yet, but I can only imagine, like, you're searching around, you're stressing out, like, you're really ready to just jump off a bridge because it's just like you're trying to find something that's, like, perfect, but obviously nothing's gonna be perfect, you have to compromise with, like, something. So, like, how is that conversation and, like, how is, like, the relationship building when it comes to in the conversation when it comes to dealing with, like, first time home buyers?
I feel like I'm already like a really chill person anyway. Like my demeanor is pretty calm. And I think that automatically puts people at ease. But I'm just very matter of fact. But I definitely think that my social work skills have helped me break bad news in a like digestible way. That doesn't sound like dun dun dun. It's crashing and burning. Like I'm gonna tell you what it is, but will make sure to follow up. But here's some options. So this is what we're dealing with. There's usually going to be two options. We either, like if we're in a home inspection situation and there's a lot of things wrong with the house, we're going to negotiate a huge credit. We're going to have the seller fix some things. Or if this is just way too much for you, we're going to pull out. I think also I'm really honest. Like, I was just talking to my brother about this the other day. I'm like too honest. I swear sometimes I be screwing myself out of fucking deals. Like, it's crazy. But I
But
feel
I mean,
like,
I but I c but I actually, I'm actually cool, like, and I respect that very much. Like, I would rather somebody be completely honest with me and then to, just continue to feed me some BS and then,
yeah,
I'd rather not. I'd rather you just be completely on and then leave it up to me to make the decision. Like, of course, at the end of the day, yes, you still want the uh, the sale to go through, yes. But I'm mostly
right,
like I don't want to ever cheat anybody or make somebody feel like they're being played or anything like that. Like, I
right.
want somebody to be as transparent. Like, let me say that.
Yeah.
Don't even be honest with me. Just be transparent with me. Like, that's what I value transparency way more than honesty. And
Yeah,
so that's what I would prefer. You just let me know, like, all right, this is what it's gonna be. Like, you can, understand that this is what it's gonna come with and you can deal with it, or, I understand if you this, the same for you and you just wanna look elsewhere, do something else. But
exactly.
what do you find is like the most first time buyers? Like, where do you find, like, where's the hesitation? Like, where are you seeing, like, where's, like, the pushback, or, like, they're not too confident in, like, something particular? Like, where do you find is, like, the
Right
hesitation?
now right now, because of the war, rates are really, really being affected right now. They're
Mm,
definitely back up a little higher than they have been, so feel like that's the most hesitation I see, but, like, when it comes to the entire process, first-time homebuyers definitely get hung up on small things sometimes. It could be small in the grand scheme of things, but to them, it's a big deal because this is their first time dealing with this. So it's a lot of, I don't even want to say talking people off the edge, but it's just a lot of educating. It's a lot of explaining, a lot of like, I know this seems crazy, but it's not that bad, or I've had other people experience this. I've experienced it personally. It only cost me however much it cost me to fix. Like, it's not as bad as you think it is. I think that's mostly what people get really scared about. home inspection stuff.
Mm. So what would you say to someone who is looking to say maybe explore real estate, but it's just like, they sit on the edge about it and, they've heard like the horror stories that comes along with, you know, being in real estate and stuff like that. Like how would you kind of just, I guess, put at ease, somebody's like mindset and like how they feel about just kind of getting into, the industry?
To be honest, I would tell them believe them horror stories, baby, because they ain't lying. Like, we be dealing with some shit. Like, it's a lot. People always think too that they can get into this and it can be like a side hustle. There's nothing side hustle about somebody's life. Like, this is somebody putting their life savings.
That is a big decision to get a
You
house.
know
That
what
is
I
a
mean?
big
Like, we're
so
talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars sometimes. So, this isn't anything that you could really I don't think you could really do this on the side. And
you
that
have
was
to
never
be 2
my
feet in.
yeah, you have to be 10 toes down, like, really in this. I would never recommend someone just getting into this if it's not a situation that I had at Redfin where, like, I was getting a check every 2 weeks, which they've actually done away with that model now. They don't have that type of system anymore. But if it's not a situation where you have guaranteed income, I would say for, like, your first 3 to 6 months of getting into real estate, make sure you have a good chunk of change saved or you're still doing some type of like part-time work on the side because
Mm,
most agents don't close their first deal for at least like 3 months into the industry, and then it's like, what are
oh,
you gonna do, while you're waiting? Some people are very lucky, like they have a whole system set up, they have friends and family who are ready to buy or sell, and they're pre-approved, they're ready to go off the gate, and that's great, that's awesome, but that's not everybody's situation. But, I really do love real estate. I'm actually trying to transition into something else right now, but, I just think that
in
definitely,
the industry or just like you wanna change like industries, like, period? Like, just
um,
go to something different.
I mean, I feel like the 2 brokerages that I've been at are already it's very tech heavy, so I'm trying to transition into more of the tech industry, but still probably doing something real estate related. Like, I could hopefully land a job at a, like, tech real estate company, but not so much, like, going on showings and that type of stuff, like, more management and, like, coordination type of thing.
So kind of like, I guess so would it be like trying to almost do what you're doing now, but just kind of more so like behind like the scenes almost?
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly that, I would say,
So
actually.
if somebody wants to like see like a house, like then how would that work with like a tech like how would that work? Like if say
Well,
somebody wants to say I want to see this
more
house, like how would that work?
I would more be working for a company like that, so say like Zillow or something, but my job wouldn't really be so it wouldn't necessarily have anything to do day to day with like showings or coordinating anything for people. Like the role that I'm looking into heavily is client success or customer success. So I would kind of be like almost like a project manager. So
Mm,
if like the website or there's some specific tool or something that they're using, I would kind of be like an analyst collecting data, making sure that customers are using whatever the product is properly,
got it. Okay.
that type of thing. More work from home and still customer facing because you're going to be dealing with customers, but
Mhm.
not day to day real estate. And I feel like I mean, you can let your license lapse, but I plan on staying on top of it and still being a realtor. I have been a realtor now for 6 years, and I feel like this is the sweet spot where your clients that maybe bought 5 years ago with you, maybe they've had kids now, they're outgrowing a condo, they're ready to sell and buy, so I'm getting that referral business and people are referring their family members and that sort of thing, so that's more where I'm gonna be focusing my real estate business and less I mean, I feel like I don't really do a lot of it right now, to be honest, but like prospecting and marketing and trying to like get new clients. I'm more so focusing my energy on transitioning into something else. But still here, still very much a full time realtor, driving all over the damn place. But
So I know you said that you kind of work like here and you kind of go over here between here and Rhode Island, is it?
hmm I live in
So
Rhode Island. I bought a house in Rhode Island almost 2 years ago now. I don't know if I've really like announced that, but I guess now I am, right?
oh yeah, I've kind of I only see you like every well, I don't know. It's been a month since I last seen
Yeah.
you. But I always see, you know, like when you post and stuff, yeah, I always see you like kind of like mention like you're in like Rhode Island somewhere. But I was gonna ask like what is like do you see like a difference in as far as like when it comes to like buyers in Mass versus like, you know, versus like buyers in like Rhode Island or so?
I mean, the process is slightly different. It's still you find a house, you like a house, you put in an offer on it. But in Rhode Island, you go straight to the purchase and sale agreement. In Massachusetts, you have a intent to purchase, so you submit an offer. Then you do your home inspection, and then your attorney, because Massachusetts is an attorney state, the attorney is the one responsible for drafting the purchase and sale in Mass. But in Rhode Island, you can have an attorney, but this is more of like a title state. So you hire a title company to do a title search and all the stuff that an attorney does in Massachusetts. We go straight to the purchase and sale. So it's like, it's basically an offer, but it's already like you're already fully into the agreement, if that makes sense. Versus in Massachusetts, you have a step in between. You can still back out after you do a home inspection here too if you don't like what
Mhm.
you find in the home inspection. But there is no second draft of a document. Like what you fill out and submit to the seller is the legally binding document that locks you into the agreement automatically.
So, all right, yeah, that was a lot there. So, I want to try to piece that together there. So, in Rhode Island, you said the purchase to sale, right?
purchase Purchase and sale.
Purchase and sale. And
It's an
so,
agreement between you and the seller,
okay,
buyer and seller.
got it. And then, so in Mass, you said that that part doesn't come in until what, like 2 steps later. Like, what has to happen before that?
You submit an offer, then you do a home inspection, and then an attorney drafts the purchase and sale in Massachusetts. But in Rhode Island, the realtor who prepares the purchase and sale is pretty much acting like the attorney would in Massachusetts. So I
Man,
feel like there's a little bit more pressure as a realtor here. I mean, if you're used to it, if you're a Rhode Island agent through and through, that's pretty much all you know. So it's regular. But coming from Massachusetts and having written over, I don't even know how many offers I've written in my career, but like I'm used to having that step first and then having a seller accept it. Then you do your home inspection and then you go to purchase and sale.
so was Massachusetts. I gotta make everything a long process. Every goddamn thing.
That's kind of funny because that's true.
Perks of living in Massachusetts. And then people talk about how much they love it here. I'm like, all right, sure, you'll love it here. Sure. Okay. Let's
I
just see
love
what comes
Massachusetts.
with it. Yeah, you know, of course I love my city for, you know, obviously the history and the sports and the ambiance of what it can give you. But there's just some things about Mass that just really I need I need a change of scenery permanently.
Yeah,
Like I've
that's
had
kind of
an
why I've moved here, but I feel like I'm
you know,
not far enough away yet. I want
you're
to go
still
down
here on the east.
south.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I need to take my
Yeah,
talents either
I
up
want to go
down
down
further south
south.
or even take it out west, like how I that's my preference there. Kind of one last thing I wanted to ask you about is more so how important not like real estate, like anything related, but just kind of just overall, just like entrepreneurship. How important is it for our generation to explore and get into entrepreneurship? Because we clearly see what's going on now. We clearly see, how inflation is literally tearing us apart and is breaking us down bit by bit. So how important is it that not just, boomers that will probably be behind Gen X maybe catch up, but for like at least our gen, millennials and going forward, Gen Z, our kids, the alpha era and whatever the generation after that, how important is it that you explore parking your money or into something or just finding another way to make money outside of just living paycheck to paycheck?
I think it's really important. I have 2 things to say about this. 1, not all of us are meant to be bosses because who's gonna do the work if
Mhm.
everybody's a boss and nobody wants to actually do the work? People just wanna call shots. So, I think it's important to know and figure out and know what it is that you're good at and figure out a way to get paid to do that. But there are some people who just, for whatever reason, can't find inspiration, but those are the people who can be the workers. And some people are really good workers. They're really good at what they do. They just either wouldn't make a good boss or don't want to be a boss. And to each their own. But I
Sure.
definitely feel like there's nothing like having your own of something. And once you really figure out what it is that you love in life and you figure out a way to make money doing that, you get to sit back and relax and actually enjoy life. Not just, I hate to sound like other, these real estate moguls that I listen to all the time, like talking about, oh, getting out the rat race. But like, it's true. You don't
It is what it
realize
is
that
out
you're in it until you have an opportunity to sit back and just have some time freedom and choose what it is that you want to do, not what you have to do. So I think it's important for everybody to experience that at some point in their life. And like I was saying at the beginning, like I really do believe that becoming a mom helped me develop this bravery even more. Like I know that it was always in me, but this bravery to really challenge the status quo and not give a fuck about what other people are telling you you should do and do what it is that you want to do. So I would say it's really important for us to at least explore. Might not be for everybody. That's okay.
Yeah, no,
But
definitely agree there. Like, it's definitely not for everybody. Like, even if you don't wanna, like, start your own business, I personally, I'm a little bit more on, like, the investor tip, so I dabble in the stock market, so I think if at least if you don't wanna have, like, a physical business where you have to do
business,
sales
yep.
and stuff like that, or, you don't wanna get into real estate, like, something like that, I at least think stock market is probably one of the easiest things you can get into, invest in. Now, despite the fact that some people may feel like, "Oh, well, it's not tangible. I can't touch it." And, but I'm like, "Well,
Just because
it's
they don't
passive."
understand.
Yeah, and that's really all it is. It's just a lack of understanding. Like, how would you're not gonna know how to make money in real estate if you don't understand the foundation of what it takes to, be nice in real estate. You're not gonna understand how to build a business if you don't have the basic foundational, terms and knowledge of how to build a business.
Exactly.
So it's just really just like I feel like, you don't wanna be an entrepreneur? Cool. But what you should do, at least invest. At least park your money somewhere and then just let it work. Because I mean, out of the 3 of them, as far as how we always talk about, like, getting passive income, stock market's gonna be the best for that.
Yeah,
Now, I mean, again, it's all again, to each their own, but I definitely feel like at least out of one of those 3 there, everybody should be picking at least one of those things there. At least one.
I definitely agree.
At
I
least
might have
one.
not a couple of years ago before I got into real estate, but I think that that's definitely something that's beautiful about coming into this type of environment is it really opens your mind, it really changes your mind on a lot of things, and you don't leave the same way that you came in.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate you, Kiani, for, blessing us with your presence today, blessing us with your knowledge.
Thank you for
One
having
final
me.
of course, of course. One final thing I want to ask, name of the show is Millennial Gem, so I would like you to just leave, a personal gem for the audience.
Hmm.
Some type of words of encouragement, just anything that you can just leave with someone to take with so they can run with and just leave them with something to think about.
I think reiterating what I was saying before, like, and take it a step further, like learning what you're good at and trying to find a way to make money that way. But I think it's even deeper than that. I think it's really important for us to all learn ourselves, really get to know our triggers, the things that make us really happy, that bring us joy, and be comfortable with yourself. Learn yourself and become comfortable with yourself. That's my gem.
There you have it, folks. All right, y'all. It's been another episode of the Millennial Gems podcast. I will see y'all. Oh, actually, no. Before I wrap this up, sorry. Please drop your. Please let know people where they can find you. Sorry, I didn't mean to wrap it up like that, though. Hold on.
Um,
Please drop whatever info
um,
you have to kind of just so people can find you.
I'm on Instagram. My real estate page is kianiestewart.realestate, and my personal page that is now private again, so you will have to request, but the Kianie Stewart on Instagram. I'm on Facebook too, Key Stewart. Mostly just on Facebook for real estate stuff though, so that would be a good way to contact me if you are looking for an agent or a mobile notary.
I'll make sure to drop those down in the description. All right. I'll see you
Thank
on the
you.
next one. Of course, of course. I'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Peace.